set of blocks. If you like to use those to aid in stepping forward on your mat, that's going to be a good tool to use a few times throughout today's class. So whenever you have what you need, go ahead and meet me in tabletop position in the middle of your mat. Coming into tabletop, you can have your toes tucked or untucked, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Bringing your shoulders over wrists, hips over heels. And allow your body to settle onto your mat by just maybe shifting side to side, forward and back. Just giving your mind and body a moment to arrive. Focus all of your energy, all of your thoughts onto today's movement as we flow through class. Kind of tossing out those other thoughts, anything that may distract you. But bringing the focus and attention to your body. Or whatever the intention is to show up onto your mat today. Kind of tune in with that as we get started. On your next breath, go ahead and settle into your stable tabletop position, engaging the arms, tucking in the belly towards the spine, and gaze is just beyond the fingertips, keeping the spine long. One breath to prepare, deep inhale, filling the lungs. Exhale, all the air out. And on your next inhale, we're going to start to transition into a few rounds of cat-cows. So on that inhale, lift the sit bones high. Allow that energy to travel all the way up through the mid-back, through the shoulder blades, as it reaches through the crown of the head, pulling the gaze forward. And exhale, rounding, pulling that energy all the way in towards yourself. As the chin tucks in towards the chest, the spine rounds, the tailbone tucks under. Inhale, unravel, starting at the low back, becoming nice and slow and intentional as that energy makes its way through the chest, pushing the heart forward and through. Gaze lifts. Exhale, round. Tightening the belly, pulling the tailbone underneath you. One more round, inhale. Ending with that lift of the gaze. Exhale, round. Pressing the energy through the heel of the hand, allowing the shoulder blades to spread wide, rounding the upper back and allowing that path to travel along the spine all the way through to the tip of the tailbone. And then inhale back towards center. From here, we're going to find a little bit more variety in our movements. We're going to move through some barrel rolls. So we're going to push up through the heel of the hand, start to round and transition that energy like we're moving into a circle with our torso. So we're going to allow our belly to fall and just shifting that energy from left to right. So letting the chest fall on the right, chest fall on the left, and then rounding through the left, rounding through the right. So rather than moving that energy front to back, back to front, we're moving it left to right. Left down, or right down, left up. Right down, left up. A few more rounds, whatever direction you chose to move into first. Move through that for one more round. And then switch it up, switch the other way, allowing the belly to fall. You're going to find a little bit more movement in the hips side to side to allow that rotation, to allow that movement. A few more rounds here. Making the movements as big or as small, as slow or as fast as you need to warm up the spine for today's class. And on your next inhale, go ahead and find center once more. If you had your toes tucked, you can untuck them now. Bring the knees, the shins, the thighs together, and then sit the hips back towards the heel. Maybe take a breath or two for yourself. You want to take a moment to close your eyes. Now that you've gotten started here in class, maybe now is your time to set the intention. If you're kind of still working some energy out of the brain, those distracting thoughts, and you're still trying to push them away in our first few movements. So if that was the case, take your space now. Set an intention. From here, you can give a little bit of space between your thighs, between your shins, between your feet and ankles. They don't have to be sandwiched and magnetized towards one another. You can give a soft opening between the legs. And you're going to bring the right fingertips behind the right toes. And then you're going to sweep the left arm up and overhead as you press the hips forward, expanding the front body. Doesn't have to be your biggest back bend. We're just finding some movement, exploring our space. Warm up the body. Exhale, sit the hips back to the heels. Left fingertips become behind left toes as the right arm sweeps up and overhead, pressing the hips forward. Exhale, hips to heels. One more round each side. Right fingertips behind right toes. Left arm sweeps up and overhead. Inhale. Finding some opening within the right shoulder. Exhale, sit hips to heels, left side, left fingertips plant, right arm sweeps up and forward. Hips to heels, keep the left hand where it is. Allow the right fingertips to come behind the right toes as well. And then inhale, pull the body up and forward, squeeze the glutes, press the hips towards the top of the mat, finding expansion within the entirety of the body all at once. Allowing the collarbones to spread wide, feeling that stretch within the front of the shoulder. Exhale, sit the hips down. And go ahead and bring your hands back to the mat, tuck the toes back behind you, press the hips back up and back, downward facing dog. As always, a few breaths here to find your space, explore your movement. Finding that mobility, that expansion within the chest, pressing the heart down towards the earth. Pedaling the feet out right to left. Breath, go ahead and settle into the center. As you settle into your downward facing dog, start to anchor down all the way through the fingertips, gripping down into the earth, into the mat, pressing through the heel of the hand as you pull that energy up through the biceps, through the front of the arm, the back of the arm, pressing the chest at a downward angle towards the ankle. And then giving an extra little press away from the earth to engage the shoulder blades as you lift the sit bones tall back behind you, driving the heels down towards the earth, keeping that length through the back body. Take a breath here to settle in, to feel that energy and tension building through your body. And then on your next inhale, shift the weight into that left foot as the right leg lifts tall back behind you. And then bend the left knee, driving the right knee in towards the right tricep, the right elbow. And plant the right foot outside the right hand. Keeping the collarbones wide, the crown of the head reaching forward, the back leg long. Drop the back knee down towards the earth. Keeping the torso long and lifted. Inhale, sweep the right arm up overhead, opening the chest towards the right side of the mat. Bring the right hand down towards the earth. Tuck the back toes. Shift the weight back, straightening the right leg, extended pyramid pose. And driving that right hip back in space just a little bit more. Feel the length in the back of the leg. Rebend the right knee. Left foot comes outside left hand. And then inhale, this hips all the way down towards the earth, coming into a passive squat for just a moment here. Make any adjustments to the positioning of your feet as you need to make space for your hips. If you grab blocks at the start of class for later on, you can go ahead and grab one of those blocks if you have it. Place that block in the elbows if you want to find a little bit more ease. Bring the elbows towards the inner edges of the knees, pressing the palms down towards one another, towards heart center. Find a little bit of opening through the hips. If you don't have a block, you can always roll part of the mat underneath your heel, so you give your body a little bit of a lift. We're here for just one more breath. Keeping the spine long and lifted, pulling the chest, the collarbones through the shoulders, sitting nice and proud. And then from here, keeping your core strong, pressing down through the soles of the feet, you're going to lift up into active squat for just a moment. Finding a little bit more engagement through the legs. Reaching the hands forward for that counterbalance. Inhale, press the legs to straight, hands to heart center. Reach the arms up overhead, finishing that inhale here. Exhale, sit the hips low, active squat. Hands come to the mat. Step the right foot back, the left foot back. Press back, downward facing dog. Settling back into your downward facing dog for just a moment. Shift the weight into that right leg. Lift the left leg back behind you, three-legged dog. Bend the right knee, driving the right knee, the left knee, sorry, to the left elbow as the left foot comes outside the left hand. Keeping the torso long, the back leg long, driving that right heel back behind you. Drop the right knee towards the mat. Inhale, left arm sweeps up and overhead, pulling the chest towards the left side of the room. Keeping that length through the right hip. Left hand comes back to the mat. Exhale, press the hips back behind you as the right toes tuck, right knees lift. Extended pyramid pose. Collarbones reaching towards the front edge of the mat. Gentle press the left hip back in space. Rebend the left knee, right foot comes outside right hand. Sit the hips low, passive squat. Feel free to use a block again here if you'd like. Whether you have a block or not, try to be a little bit more active or mindful, engaged, and open in this passive squat. Relying on your own strength, stability to keep that shape, to keep that lift in the torso. Gentle pressing the elbows in towards the inner edge of the knee. Find a little bit more space to the inner thigh through the groin. And you can use the energy from the legs all the way through the sole of the feet, or you can use your hands to prop your body up into active squat. And reaching the fingertips long, pulling the collarbones through, sitting the hips low and back behind you. Exhale, press through the soles of the feet, hands come to heart center. Coming tall to stand. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, press the hips forward, maybe front, exploring back then just a little bit deeper. Exhale, sit the hips low, active squat. Inhale, hands plant. Slight bend in the elbows as the left foot steps back. The right foot steps back. Press back, downward facing dog. We're going to transition into Awakening Yoga Surya Egg. So from your downward facing dog, we're going to transition to the top of the mat into an active squat. Whether you want to step, hop, or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise high up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Here comes the step, hop, or float, bringing the feet outside the hands. Inhale, up into that active squat. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Press the hips forward. Exhale, sit the hips low. Active squat. Inhale, hands plant. Step, hop, or float up to that high plank position. Push up. Modify as you need. Sit the hips back. Hips to heels. Like you're coming into child's pose. Drop the forearms, gaze forward. Snake and pull the body through. Up to upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to transition through 2 more rounds here. So feel free to modify or advance your transitions as you feel appropriate in your body today. On the next inhale, rise up high onto the toes. Exhale, sit the hips back, gaze forward, step, hop, or float, feet outside, hands. Inhale, up, active squat. Exhale, hands come to heart center, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, press the hips forward, open the front of the body. Exhale, sit the hips low, active squat. Inhale, hands plant, slight bend in the elbows, step, hop, or float, hands back to plank pose. Take a push-up of your variation. Sit the hips back to heels. Forearms plant down to the earth, gaze forward, pull the body through. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last round here. Inhale, high up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Step, hop, or float, feet outside, hands. Inhale, rise up into active squat. Exhale, hands come to heart center, press to stand. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, open the front body, gaze up. Exhale, return to active squat. Inhale, hands plant, elbows slightly bent to help aid with that step, hop, or float back to plank pose. Take your push up. Sit the hips back. Forearms plant, gaze forward, pull the body through. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, if you have blocks today, feel free to grab those. We're going to be stepping our feet through the hands on the next sequence here. So if you prefer to have that little bit of an aid, feel free to grab that and meet back in downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, shift the weight into that left side. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bend the left knee. Drive the right knee up and towards the collarbone, rounding the upper back as you push through the heel of the hands. The right foot plants at right thumb. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, Crescent Lunge. Drive the right hip back in space. Pull the left hip up and forward. Reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Torso is nice and long, legs are engaged. Gripping down through the sole of the right foot. Pressing down through the left heel. And from here, start to tilt the torso over that right thigh. Pressing gently through the back toes as you shift the weight over that right foot. Dragging the left foot behind you until you're ready to lift the leg up and back behind you here. Keep that front knee bent, crouching in warrior. Stay stable, find your stability your strength through that right leg. And then exhale, press your right knee to straight. Keeping the hips even, keeping that stability. Don't lose your shape. And then we're gonna start to open the hips towards the left side of the room, keeping that right leg strong and stable. If you have blocks here and you'd like to use that for your transition, feel free. So pressing the energy through that right leg as you start to open the body towards the left side, opening the hips. Keeping that left leg engaged, lifted. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. You can keep your gaze down at the mat, or at the front, or just beyond the front edge of the mat, if that's good for you. You can start to slowly lift that gaze towards the left side of the room, or even up towards the sky, again, wherever you feel your stability is at. And challenge that for 3. Or 2, and 1. Feel free to, keeping the hips open, start to rebend that right knee as you reach the left toes back behind you. That step can be as big or as small as you like. And then you're gonna press through that right knee, press to straight. Left arm traces down the back of the left leg as the right arm reaches up and over. Reverse triangle. Open the front right side body. It was engaged, it was strong, it was a little bit compressed just before. So keep that lift, find that lift, that engagement, that support. And then with the strength of the torso, bring your upper body up, bump the hips back behind you as you come down into triangle pose. So the hips bump back, make that adjustment in your stance as you need. Right fingertips come inside the sole of the right foot. You can use that block again to maintain that lift, that support as you need. Reaching the left fingertips up, pulling the collarbones towards the left side of the room. And left hand comes down to the mat. Return the block to either edge of the right foot, framing that right foot, and then press the, keeping that right leg extended and long. Spin the hips forward towards the top edge of the mat. Sit the hips back, coming into extended pyramid pose once more. Keeping that length in the torso, maybe feeling that compression or starting to feel that compression between the torso and the front right thigh. Go ahead and start to shift the weight into that right foot once more, bending that right knee, using the blocks as you need. We're gonna come into standing splits. So your fingertips can be on the earth, your fingertips can stay on the blocks, depending on where your support is at. And then again, bending that right knee, dragging that left leg back behind you until it's ready to lift as you pull the body down. Wherever that anchor point feels good for you. Again, if you like having your fingertips on the blocks, on the earth, maybe you have the stability, the control to grab hold of the right leg in some capacity, whether it's one or both hands. But as you're leveraging the body down, you want to feel the energy in that left foot, kicking it up and back behind you for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Keeping the stability, the strength of the right leg. I know it's tired. Rebend that right knee, and then start to bring that left leg through, coming all the way up and through to staff pose. I know that right leg is working hard. Stay strong and lifted through the sole of the foot, ground down through that big toe. Lift that inner arch and feel that energy transition all the way through the right thigh, the right hip. That left leg is lifted in towards your chest for 3, or 2, and 1. Lower the left foot, maybe scooch that block if it's in your way. Lower the left foot down towards the mat, about hips width apart. And then inhale, sit the hips low. That right, you're probably feeling a lot of different sensations in that right leg and that right hip compared to the left. But sit the hips back evenly into that chair pose. Keep the torso lifted, keep the belly button pulled in towards the spine. Sit the hips low, feel that energy, feel that engagement between the outer hips, the inner thighs. Feeling strong for 3, for 2, sit the hips back, pull the chest forward, and 1, forward, pull, all the way down. From here, go ahead and plant the hands. You might be a little off kilter, off the center of your mat, but go ahead and plant the hands, slight bend in the elbows as you step 1 foot back at a time, and then find your vinyasa or meet back in downward facing dog. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog or transition onto the other side. So take a moment for yourself in downward facing dog. Bring the blocks back if that was something that you were using. Find your breath, deep inhale. Exhale to prepare. Shift the weight into that right leg, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bend the right knee, driving the left knee in towards the collarbone, giving yourself space to step the left foot between the hands. Bring your hips towards center. You can even press that left hip back in space, pulling that right hip forward before you lift up into crescent pose, crescent lunge. Committing to that front knee, driving the right heel back behind you to keep that length in the front of the right hip. Reaching the fingertips long. Few more breaths to settle in, to feel that energy build. Now that we're transitioning on to the left side, that left leg, you know what's in store. So start to tilt the torso over the left leg, reaching the fingertips long, and gently press through the back toes, dragging the right toe back behind you as you're ready to shift the weight all the way into that left leg. The right leg lifts. Hips square to the earth. So you might have to do a gentle nudge of your body to bring that right hip down. Giving your body the time, the effort, the energy to find that stability within the left leg. Then exhale, press your left knee to straight. Engage that thigh a little bit more. Maybe check in with that right hip again. Are you able to pull it down towards the earth to square those hips off? Then from here, grab hold of a block or bring fingertips down to the earth as you start to open the hips towards the right side of the room. So keeping that right leg lifted, keeping the torso long, start to open the right arm up towards the sky. As the right arm lifts, it's going to try to convince your torso to spin towards the right as well, keeping that right leg lifted. So only move that top arm as slow as you need to integrate that strength, that stability within the core, and also that left leg. The gaze can stay at the earth, or it can gently start to lift. And if you feel the shakiness in that left leg, don't do anything too quick. Slowly integrate that challenge into your body. You might stumble out of it, and that's a-okay. Feel free to join us back here as we hold for 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. Slight bend in that left knee as the right toes reach back behind you. Press that left knee towards the direction of straight as the right arm tracks down back behind the right thigh. Left arm reaches up and overhead, reverse triangle. Open that left side body up towards the sky. Keep the gaze up. Left bicep is in towards your ear. Staying strong and engage that back leg. Trying to find a little bit of lightness here. Lightness in the challenge. And then inhale, bring the torso up. Bump the hips back in space a little bit further as the left hand comes down towards the earth to the inner arch of that left foot. Grab a block as you need. Open the right arm towards the sky. Open the chest towards the right side of the room. And if you don't have a block here but like that support, feel free to anchor in towards the ankle, the top of the foot, the shin, maybe just below the knee or even the thigh. Whatever feels good for you to keep that lift in the torso and the side bodies, that engagement through the core, and keeping that right leg lifted. If you are up high in the thigh, make sure you're keeping that muscle engaged so you're not putting too much awkward pressure on the knee. But again, make those adjustments as you need. Breathing into that space, trying to stay strong and lifted. One more breath, deep inhale. Exhale. And then go ahead and turn the hips back in space as we spin onto the right toes, framing that right front, left foot, coming into extended pyramid pose. Driving the right heel down towards the earth. But pulling the right hip forward. So that energy, that push and that pull, helping find that length. Inhale, reach the crown of the head long. Exhale, fold. And feel free to find your blocks once more wherever they found themselves through these transitions, or bring your fingertips to the earth. We're going to find standing splits. So bend into that left foot, come onto the right toes. Just like we transition into crouching warrior, we're going to transition into standing splits. So you're going to drag the right toes back behind you until your left foot's ready to take on the majority of that weight, that stability. So as you bring the torso down, the right leg lifts back behind you. So finding that teeter-totter as you reach your crown of your head down, the chest down, the collarbone staying wide. As you reach the upper body down, the right leg lifts back behind you. You're finding that strength within the back of the side of the leg. Using that grip, those hands wherever they feel most useful for you. And that right leg might look like it's crouching, like you're in crouching warrior, and that's just fine. Just think of the energy, or that, the energy, the pairing between the torso coming down and the leg coming up back behind you, whatever that looks like for you. For 5, 4, last bit of effort, 3, 2, 1. Slight bend to the left knee, bending the right knee as well as the right knee passes the left, coming up toward staff pose. So staying strong in the left leg. I know it's tired. Pull the right leg through, right knee up and towards the chest. Strong in the core, long in the side body. If you feel like you need a little bit of support, don't shy away from holding on to that right leg. If you want to bring the focus onto that left leg, the strength, the stability, feel free to grab the hold. But with that left leg, you want to stay grounded all the way, like you said, on the right side. Staying grounded through the sole of the left foot, grounding down through that big toe, lifting through the arch and pulling that energy all the way up through the calf, through the thigh, through the glute. As you feel that support all the way through, and using that energy to keep the upper body tall. It's almost like you're pulling the energy from the earth all the way through your body until it radiates through the top of your head. You want to feel that pull, that lift. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scooch those blocks out of the way if you need. Right foot plants. Inhale, sit the hips back, chair pose. Now after we did this, just doing the right side, you probably felt very, very lopsided. Like your right leg was holding onto all this energy and this left leg was feeling a little bit behind. And maybe after we move through both sides, you're feeling a little bit more evenness, side to side. Still keeping that energy through the soles of the feet, now sharing the work. So you should still feel that strength through the outer edges of the hips, the inner thighs. Belly, core as strong as the belly button tucks in towards the spine. Save the hips low, reach the fingertips up. 1 Exhale, forward. Give your body just a moment of breath. Shift your feet towards the center of the mat. Plant the hands, step the feet back. Take your vinyasa or meet us in downward facing dog. And with your vinyasa, your push-up can be modified in any capacity. You can even go all the way down to locust pose before you sit the hips back and transition through to upward facing dog. Or you can skip it and transition right to downward facing dog and meet us everyone there. And I know that was a challenge. I know we held things for a prolonged period of time. But we're gonna move through that series once more on each side. So it's gonna be more flow based. So not spending a whole lot of time in each position. Give yourself a breath or two here in downward facing dog. Settle in, re-anchor, reintegrate all the way from fingertips to the heels, finding length within the back body. Bring the blocks back if you like to use those. And start to shift the weight into that left leg, right leg lifts, inhale. Bend the left knee, drive the right knee in towards the collarbone as the right foot comes in between the hands. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Bring the torso over that right thigh. Press through the back toes as you shift the weight into the right leg, crouching warrior. Exhale, press the right knee to straight. Grab a block if you need. Open the hips towards the left side of the room. Give yourself a moment to integrate. Rebend the right knee, reach the left toes back behind you. Press the right knee to straight. Inhale, reverse triangle. Reach the arms up, bump the hips back. Fingertips come inside the right foot. Left arm reaches up and overhead, triangle pose. Spin the back toes towards the front of the mat, frame the front foot. Push the hips back just a little bit further. Fold forward, extended pyramid pose. Bend into the right knee. Slide the left toes closer and closer as the left leg lifts, standing splits. Inhale. Upper body down, left leg lifts. Rebend the right knee. Bend the left knee as the left knee passes the right. You bring your body to stand, stack pose. Left foot plants. Sit the hips back, chair pose. Inhale, knees to straight. Exhale, fold. Hands plant, step the feet back. Take your vinyasa or skip it. Meeting in downward facing dog. Once you're in downward facing dog, shift the weight towards your right foot. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bend the left knee, bend the right knee as the left knee drives in towards the collarbone. Plants between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Settle in. Exhale, shift, tilt the torso down, shift the weight over that left foot. Right leg lifts, crouching warrior. Keep the upper body lifted. Exhale, press your left knee to straight. Inhale, open the hips. Open towards the right side of the mat. Rebend the left knee, right toes reach back behind you. Straighten that left leg. Reverse warrior. Reverse warrior. Reverse triangle. The legs are straight or towards the direction of straight. Inhale, torso lifts. Bump the hips back. Exhale. Left hand plants. Right arm opens up towards the right side, towards the sky. Reach and stay long. Right hand comes back towards the earth, framing the left foot. Spin the right toes forward. Sit the hips back, extended pyramid pose. Bend into the left knee. Drive the right toes back behind you as you keep the torso tilted down. Lift the right leg up and back. Standing splits. You want to keep the torso long and lifted to help with that momentum to reach the right leg up and high. Bend the left knee. The right knee passes the left as you pull the body up into standing step. The right leg stays lifted, knee to chest. Plant the right foot. Inhale, set the hands back, chair pose. Inhale, straighten the legs, exhale, fold. Last vinyasa here. So plant the hands, step, hop, or float the feet back. Take your push-up or your variation of sit the hips back. Drop the forearms, pull the body through. Exhale, downward facing dog. Everyone meeting once again in downward facing dog. From here, you have a 10-count journey to walk the hands up towards the wrists. So whatever that feels like or looks like for you, you can step, hop, or float. And we're going to start now for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep the energy pressing through the heel of the hands to give your body space to walk forward for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep the body folded forward. Allow your head to hang heavy, the neck to be long. Allow everything to let go. Inhale, halfway lift, pull the collarbones, the chest, the heart through. Exhale, fold. Bring your feet a little bit wider, close toward the edges of the mat. Maybe spin the toes out. And then exhale, sit the hips low, coming into passive squat once more. Elbows towards the inner edges of the knees. Palms come together, pressing that energy to open the hips a little bit further. Allowing the sit bones to fall further and further toward the earth. Towards the end of class here, if you want to take a little bit of that effort out of it, even though it's quote-unquote passive squat, there should be less activity compared to active squat. But if you want to find even a little bit more ease, find a block, or find a couch cushion, pull it off the couch, slip it underneath your sit bones. Give your body that support so you can dive a little bit deeper into that sensation of the inner thigh. And reintegrate, rediscover your breath. If you've been painfully aware of your breath, go ahead and slow it down. Knowing that the holds, the majority of the strength, all of those effortful poses that we just transitioned through, knowing that that time has passed, you've made it, you've done it, your body feels it. As we taper off to end class, you start to settle in with the new sensations that you feel. Observing all the work that your body's done. If you did bring a block in to help support you, go ahead and take that out. And just allow the hips to officially come towards the mat, feet come out in front of you. feet flat and knees in. You can give yourself a little bit of a, almost like you're bringing your knees in towards your chest, like you're laying down on the ground. Feel free to do that while you're sitting here. Give your body a nice big hug. And then to let go, to open the front body, keeping the feet onto the earth, the knees bent. Slowly allow the torso to round, the spine to round as it lowers down towards the earth. Allow the upper body to fall heavy. Find a little bit of openness. I did say that the majority of the effort is done, but we're going to move through two rounds of bridge pose. If you feel fully depleted, if you would like to just find passiveness as we end class here, and you have a block or even a cushion, if you would like to take a supported bridge, please feel free. I know in my mind that sounds like a really good idea right now, but whichever feels good for you. We're going to open the front of the body, find some space within the front of the hips. So scoot your heels in towards your bottom, arms alongside your body. Scoop the shoulder blades underneath to puff the chest out just a little bit more. Close off the space between the hip bones and the rib cage to engage your core just a little bit. Press through the heels. Engage the muscles on the back sides of your legs as you lift the hips up towards the sky, coming into your first round of bridge pose. Although the focus here is more of a front body opener, keep that engagement through the back sides of the legs. Keep the hip lifted. Keep the energy between the inner thighs active. To avoid allowing the knees to splay, you want everything to stay in line to keep that engagement for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down all together, keeping that tuck of the hip bones towards the rib cage. And if that was all you had, if you want to take the second round as a more passive experience, go ahead and grab that block. Otherwise, your last bout of effort here. Reintegrate from heels to tips of the shoulders. So if you need to scoot those shoulder blades under once more. Knit the ribs down towards the hips, hips up towards the ribs, closing off that space. Press through the heels, engage the glutes, press up, hips up towards the sky. You want to clasp your hands under your low back, scooping the shoulders underneath your upper body just a little bit more. Find a little bit more expansion across the collarbone. Tucking the tailbone underneath you to get a little bit more engagement of the glutes, engagement of the core. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unlace the fingers, lower the body down. Extend the left leg long. Adjust your body position as you need. Right knee in towards the chest. Squeeze it in towards your torso. Find a little bit more space if it feels good. Bring the thigh more so along the torso. Bring the knee towards the right armpit. Grabbing hold of that right knee, keeping the left leg as it is. Bring the right leg over towards the left, finding a simple twist. Keeping the shoulder blades anchored onto the earth. That right collarbone reaching towards the right side, towards the sky. Trying to keep the heart open even in this twist. Inhale, right knee back towards center. Allow the right foot to come to the earth. Bring the left knee in towards the chest and extend the right leg long. Finding the compression between the left thigh and the left side body. Bringing the leg beyond the edge of the torso to explore a little bit more space. Keeping the legs as they are, bring the left leg over towards the right, finding that twist. Keeping the left shoulder anchored as best you can. Deepen this movement. Inhale back towards center. Drop the left foot towards the earth. Bring both knees in towards the chest. One final squeeze. And pull the chin up and towards the chest. Find that full compression. And go ahead and allow everything to extend long, filling up the space within and beyond your mat. If you're looking forward to a supported bridge and went with the active pose instead, if you'd like to take it now, please feel free. If you haven't already, allow your eyes to soften. Your face, your jaw to soften, allowing the eyes to close. And as you allow the tension to release, allow that trend to continue throughout the body. Let that sensation of softening travel down the muscles of your neck, shoulders, all the way through the fingertips, through the chest, the hips, all the way through the tips of the toes as the legs fall open. Notice the rise and fall of your belly as you fill and empty with air. With all of the energy that you built during class, give yourself, your mind, your body these moments to find that softness, to allow that energy to settle throughout your body. Thank you so much for practicing with me today on this beautiful day here. I look forward to practicing with y'all again soon. Thank you so much.